Opening day is tomorrow. We get ready for the baseball season, and joining us right now on the Nick Cattle Show, Sports 1140 KHTK, is Jesse Rodgers. Jesse covers the MLB for ESPN. Jesse, thanks for the time. It is much, much appreciated. First, your thoughts on an interesting story and note that I saw yesterday. This anti-sign stealing device that baseball has allowed this year. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I'll tell you what players think about it. They love it. I was in camp just yesterday, White Sox camp and Padres camp, and the majority of players I talked to loved it, especially the younger players, because they're in tune with the new technology, right? Some of the old school guys were a little bit reticent, but not really. They're going to use it as well. Now, not every team is ready to use it, but it's pretty cool. Catchers are going to have a little device on their wrist. They're going to punch in the pitch they want, and then the pitcher will have a little receiver in his cap. And then I guess they can place it anywhere they want in their cap, and they will hear robotic voice call out, fastball up and away, slider down and away, whatever the case may be. They'll hear it in their receiver in their hat, and that's the pitch they'll throw. And of course, it eliminates the need for catchers to put down the signs, which is something that's been part of baseball since we've all watched it, right? So it's a change. It's different, but it should streamline the game a little bit more. It should quicken the pace once they get used to it. But there might be some unintended consequences. We'll see.
Let's talk about the biggest move that was made recently. Sean Manaea going to the Padres. Does that trade make the Padres the second most dangerous team in the National League behind the Dodgers, Jesse?
I'm a little down on the Padres, probably mostly because of the Tatis injury. And there's just some, I don't want to say turmoil, but, they've been trying to move Hosmer. I don't know. Maybe I just have this bad feeling based on last year. I actually picked them to just miss the playoffs this year, but I might change that now that DeGrom's down. I had the Mets getting a wild card and not the Padres, but I might change that. So I don't think they're the second best team. I'm a little down on them. I guess if they stay healthy on the mound, which they didn't do last year, they're going to be that much better. But I just have some weird feeling that I love the manager change. That was needed, and maybe that'll be enough. They still have to prove something to me. They have to prove something to me as a group. The parts are good. Can they do it as a group? They certainly underachieved last year, but maybe the managerial change will make the difference. So I don't think they're the second best team in the National League. I think the Phillies are every bit as good as the Padres. No one likes to talk about the Phillies, but that lineup is devastating. The starting rotation is damn good. Their bullpen is better. It can't be worse than it's been the last couple of years. So there's a team I'd say that might be better than the Padres. I could be wrong because they don't play very good defense in Philly.
I was going to say that defense is the question mark in Philly. Jesse Rodgers with us from ESPN talking baseball. Lots of talk, Jesse, about the Blue Jays. Aside from Toronto, which team are you looking at the most in the AL?
Well, last year I would have said the White Sox. I was really high on them, but they've already had pitching injuries, and they're still a little bit too right-handed. I was kind of surprised when they traded Craig Kimbrell. They brought back another right-handed outfielder. They have a ton of those guys. So I feel like the balance isn't great there. I do like the Yankees lineup. Rizzo, I think, is important because him and Gallo need to provide what they maybe provided when they were traded for. That was too right-handed as well. The Blue Jays are too right-handed. I think of the better teams in the AL, the left-handers that really come to play are going to make the difference in those lineups. So if Rizzo and Gallo have those kind of years, I think they could win the division. So that's what I'm looking at: the Yankees, the Blue Jays, and the White Sox. But they're all a little bit too right-handed. So the lefties on those teams are going to have to come up big. In the West, I think the Astros are going to miss Correa. His leadership, his production, his defense. It's now or never for the Angels. It's Joe Maddon's last year. They have an option next year. The team does. I know that he is just begging and praying every day that his pitching is better than it's been in the past. It can't be worse. He's also praying for health from Rendon and Trout. Like I said, if it doesn't happen this year for the Angels, it'll never happen. But those AL East teams are pretty stacked. And I haven't even mentioned Boston, who, based on last year, you can't discount.
We have a number of Giants fans, of course, here in Sacramento and the surrounding area. Jesse, when you look at the Giants, what's the best case, worst case scenario for them?
Well, I think a repeat of last year would be the best case. But so I guess I don't see that happening. I mean, everything fell into place. it's just not going to happen that way again, that way. But they do have a nice, prospect group, and they seemed to gel last year. I think best case scenario is they're a wild card team. That's the very best case, and maybe a 90-win team, which would still be 10 or more less wins than last year. So it's a drop off, but 90 wins is no slouch. But I think they could actually drop down to like in the 80s, to be honest, 80, 82. They could be a 500 team. It's tough because last year nobody thought they could do what they did, and so to doubt them again might be a mistake. But their pitching is great. Their pitching is great, and they hit a ton of home runs last year. I just don't know if they can repeat that offensively. So I'm going to say they have a drop down, but even if it's to 90 wins, that's not so bad.
Jesse Rodgers from ESPN is with us here talking baseball. How good are we looking at, compared to recent rookies, are Bobby Witt Jr. and Julio Rodriguez?
Yeah, they're really good. They're really good. I'll tell you what, I'm based in Chicago. The Cubs rookie, Seiya Suzuki from Japan, is the real deal as well. There's a really good group of rookies. Now, Suzuki's a different class, a little bit older. He's getting paid $17 million, by the way. Those guys are getting the minimum, right? Bobby Witt is almost like a can't miss. I don't know as much about Rodriguez. Haven't seen him. He'll be in Chicago early with the Mariners here. But it's a really good rookie class. I felt like last year was not as good. I mean, it was like in the National League, Jonathan India, he won it. And then after that, it was like, Patrick Wisdom of the Cubs, who came on late, wasn't even a regular player from the get-go. This year, different story. And I wonder if the new CBA, the new rules in the CBA made a difference with all these guys making it this year. But look, all eyes are going to be on Bobby Witt. That guy's the real deal.
Jesse, do you think Pujols gets to 700 this year?
Yes, I do, because I think they're going to give him every opportunity. Boy, the DH really made a difference for a bunch of players. I don't think he'd be playing if it wasn't for the DH in the National League. So, look, he's going to play against all lefties and probably a few righties. So I do think he'll run into a few for sure. He's playing in the right division. I think not so much in St. Louis, but Wrigley, the ball flies in the summer. Miller Park's a good hitting place. Pittsburgh can be good in the summer as well. I think he'll be okay. I really do. I mean, I think he proved with the Dodgers he could provide something. You got to find the right matchup for him, and I think they'll be able to do that.
Now, usually in these interviews, people will ask you, who do you have going to the World Series? We're not going to go down that road. A lot of stuff can happen here. I'd rather mix it up here a little bit. Think outside the box, Jesse. Your Major League Baseball season prediction this year that might strike people as outside the box or different or surprising. What do you think happens this year that not many people would think would happen?
Okay, well, we kind of touched on it, and I could look really foolish, especially with the Mets' problems. But I'll just say this. I mean, DeGrom's out a while. But my point is that before DeGrom went down, here was my out-of-box prediction, that only the Dodgers made the playoffs from the NL West. That the Mets, the Phillies, and the Braves all make it from the East, and then the Brewers and Cardinals from the Central, and there's your wild card teams. I do think San Francisco is going to have a drop-off. It was a magical year, and I just have this weird feeling about San Diego, but I'm going to change that because the Mets lost DeGrom, and that's huge. So I say San Francisco doesn't make it, and the Padres have a chance. But my initial thought was only the Dodgers from the West.
Interesting stuff. Jesse, thanks for the time. We appreciate it. Great stuff. Let's do this again soon, my friend.
Hey, and I don't know many guests that could name the band and song coming in because they're Sacramento-based. Cake, short skirt, long jacket.
There we go, baby. There it is. There it is, Jesse.
Sacramento-based, right?
Yeah, yep.
There you go. Take care.
Thank you, Jesse. Appreciate you. There goes Jesse Rodgers from ESPN covering baseball. How about that? A little bit of cake. Yes, we've discussed cake a few times on this program. I think all of us are fans of cake, the band, and maybe just cake. I'm a fan of cake. Don't eat a lot of it, but I'm a fan of it.